We're in Brooklyn, Illinois, the first black town in the U.S. to incorporate in 1873. But black families had already settled here by 1829 to make it the first black settlement in Illinois, decades before slavery was abolished in 1865. They weren't waiting on freedom, they were building it. And this is where we begin Black Settlements in Southern Illinois, the launch. Black settlements were more than just places on a map. Some of the locations we visited no longer exist. They bore the names of Bostic, Schultz, Hodges Park, and Locust Grove. Then there are towns like Sparta and Pulaski that still remain. They were communities, not by choice, but by force, born out of hope, resistance, and faith. Scattered across southern Illinois, these towns had churches, schools, farmlands, and cemeteries. And for too long, their stories have been left out of history.
This white man that owned my family, the Crims, his name was Zion Crim. Now, his name was Crimm. My family now, their name is Crim.
The Crims were a prominent Schultz area family.
I know it sounds, people modeled after them.
Yes, well, say it.
So-
I mean, you should be proud. That's something for you to be proud.
I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything.
No.
But they did. So when we went to school, and when my mother and all of them, when they went to school, others in the community did the same thing.
Yes.
So they were a model,
Yes.
and they were such a model that they named the road after them. So I have a picture of that too, Crim Road.
Okay.
So if you were ever trying to get to my home, I could use Crim Road as one of the locations to tell you how to get there.
Allergy says a lot has changed since her time in Schultz. When she goes back now to visit the family farm, much of that land in the community that used to be owned by black families is now owned by white folks. But the Crims still own their share. What hasn't changed, though, is the church and well-kept picturesque cemetery. Jimmy McKinley's family came to Jackson and Williamson counties in the early 1900s from Bessemer, Alabama, by the way of Georgia to work in the coal mines until they were depleted. And then they found work the best way they could. Hard workers, McKinley's father was big on education.
Proud of his sons. He had 3 sons. I'm the oldest of the 3. I was able to get an education, get a job, supported by family. I have a son. He's doing the same thing. My second brother, Ron, became a professor at Malcolm X College teaching X-ray. My baby brother became an MD. So Daddy was really proud of all of us.
Yes.
Mama was too.
And then there were the Bostics, a large family who came here in 1865 from Montgomery County, Tennessee, and settled near Panoma, south of Murfreesboro.
They established a farm primarily. And as the farm grew, they kept bringing other family members to Pomona. As the family was more prosperous, they established a church and a school and a cemetery. The cemetery still exists.
A rarity for blacks in those days, but the Bostic men had already done their patriotic duty before settling in Jackson County.
The members of the Bostic family fought in in the Civil War.
Wow.
Not only in the Union Army, but also in the Union Navy, which was kind of unusual.
Yes.
Most cemeteries aren't as easy to find as Bostic Cemetery. It definitely needs a little TLC, but honestly, if it were up to the neighboring owners, it might not be here at all.
So their little 2 paved road is where some bodies are there.
They told me that Scott Martin, who worked for agriculture at the time, but also the gentleman in the house spoke to. He said, yeah, when they were excavating that road, they ran
They were
across.
the ones who found it.
They found something too. They probably knew it before the what do you call it? The agriculture department did.
Okay.
Because the agriculture department came out and surveyed the road and saw bodies under there. So the people who built it had to run across something if they went down far enough.
So they didn't preserve the portion of the graveyard where they had unearthed some remains?
I don't
Probably
think so.
not. They probably said,
Probably
it's just a dog.
Just covered it up.
No, you can tell a dog bone from
I
human
know you can,
bone.
but when you in denial,
No, when you just don't care and
That's
you grew up
denial.
with hate.
Take Wolford Cemetery in Pulaski County. We walked more than a half mile just to get there. Wow. Ooh. My goodness gracious.
This is the cemetery where Walter's grandmother buried.
Really?
So as I recall, we'll go up to the corner of that field where the trees, the woods meet. And I think there's an old road. It's just an old path or road.
Wow.
And it'll kind of weave around.
Okay. Guys, this is a lot of walking just to get to a cemetery.
Just to be here after such a long search. And I called my police and let them know that, hey, I found it. And there was closure.
We visited 10 cemeteries during this project. Some were small and family-owned, others served entire communities. Weaver Cemetery, like Bostic, is one of those family sites, tucked away, quiet, and rich with history passed down through generations. This is Weaver Cemetery, out in the middle of nowhere. The closest town we would say Sandusky. But it is owned by the Weaver family, and they had acres and acres of land. Weaver is one of those quiet family cemeteries, but not all cemeteries rest in silence. Over at Locust Grove, Memorial Day is more than just a tradition. It's a commitment. Families with deep roots in the community come together to cook, serve, and raise funds, honoring the past through hard work and togetherness. People travel from all over for the barbecue, and while not everyone is related, everyone belongs. And that's where Tony Craig picks up the story.
Our family, the Martin family, actually come from Tennessee, and we were actually lineage line that comes from a man called Mr. Tim Martin. And in that, he sent his children down here and to free territory. And the acreage was bought at 65 cents an acre. He gave them the money, sent it by his old mama, and sent the slaves also. And it was pretty groovy because it was more than the release of indentured slaves. Those were his children. He made sure they were protected, and there's quite a story about how there was always a gunman on board a carriage to make sure of their passage. So it was groovy, real groovy.
So Martin was white,
Yes,
and so he had biracial children.
biracial children.
Mulatto, at that time we would call
He
mulatto.
fought in the Revolutionary War. He was a good guy, and he had children, and his children he sent to freedom, and we're the lineage line of that freedom. So it's pretty groovy.
It takes everybody to pull this barbecue off, men, women, and kids, all pitching in. From the folks doing the cooking, to the runners, to the cashiers, and the ones making sure people feel welcome.
He's gonna bring it to you. He's gonna get him out. Now, Tony, don't you jump in there.
Can you see?
Don't smoke in the picture. That just makes it real.
Yep.
That makes it real.
Now you talking about some
No,
good
not
chicken.
today.
This chicken be walking.
I be walking.
This chicken walk. My favorite. And it's smoked to the bone.
So he can watch me.
That's really the best you can get. Really. Like this.
That's the whole job.
You got, it's a total of 6, I think.
6.
Yeah, somebody wants 6.
Yep, 6.
And right off the top.
Oh, he got all 6? That's my cousin.
For real.
So he's a runner?
He's a runner, and he's a runner,
And I'm a runner.
and he's a runner.
Gabby knows this cemetery. He's not just here helping run the barbecue, he's the caretaker too. The rest of the year, he's out here on his own time, keeping things together and for good reason.
Right here, we all armies. We got this.
So this is yours over here, Gary. You got yours?
That's it. This is my brother Jerry,
Okay.
and you'll notice all of them. And that's my dad over there, James Bowman. You see all of them are the same. Those three tombstones. That's his mother. This is Jerry's daughter. She died of COVID. That's that. And Jackie met her. She lived. Well, you didn't meet her. That's his wife. When he got married, they didn't last but about 11 months. They were so happy.
As you can see, cemeteries are a big part of black settlements, including Henderson Cemetery in Pulaski, where Michelle Obama's ancestors are buried.
I can't say who.
Okay, somebody told you.
Somebody it was a white guy coming. I was out here mowing grass, and I kept seeing all these white people kept coming up in the cemetery when Obama was in office.
Really?
So one day I was out here, and he stopped and told me. He said, "I'm looking for this grave." I said, "Well, why are you looking for this grave?" He said, "Because it's Michelle Obama's great granddaddy."
Really?
So we found it.
Oh, well, come on and show it to us.
Wow.
Oh, was you?
Yeah, okay. Well, he know where it's at then now.
That's so
I couldn't remember.
So you're the white man.
A woman named Rachel Swarms had
See,
called
there
me
he is
from
right
New
here with
York,
us all
and
the
she
time.
was writing.
A lady named what?
Rachel Swarms called me from New York and said she had been commissioned to write a biography of Michelle Obama and asked if I would research her family history, at least her roots here in Southern Illinois.
Okay.
So I did that and found where her great grandmother was married a second time to a Civil War soldier called Jerry Suter. And he was pensioned. He received a pension. And he was buried here. He has a military marker over here.
Okay.
But they put his name as Jerry Sutton. They misspelled the name.
Okay. Awesome.
The white.
So we was right here, and you held that against all this time. You knew what we was getting. You knew how excited we was gonna get.
I thought we was family, man. He's not invited to the first cookout.
Or
Jerry.
S-U-T-T-O-R.
I see S-U-T-T.
Oh, yeah.
It says O-N, but his name was actually Suter, Jerry
Okay.
Suter.
Okay.
So he was at the 55th OSG.
Yeah, U.S.
U.S. Okay,
C,
U.S.
U.S. Colored Infantry.
Oh, I see. Colored infantry. Okay.
Where do you see colored in?
Right here.
And
That's C. That's what that C stands for.
yeah, and he was a sergeant.
Oh, he was a
Because
sergeant.
it says Sarge.
Yeah,
S-R-G-T.
up there.
So this is Michelle Obama's
Great.
How come it's not a death date on there?
Military markers usually
No,
didn't.
don't.
They put
Okay.
the rank of the
The
soldier,
soldier.
the name of the soldier, and then what unit they served in.
Wow.
But
So-
it's on the death certificate.
Death certificate,
Yeah.
and he received a pension too.
Yeah.
His rounded headstone suggests he served in the Union Army during the Civil War and received a pension. Some black soldiers aren't so lucky. Gene Schaffner, the cemetery's volunteer caretaker, has relatives buried there too. Show me where the tombstones are.
They're all back in there in them trees. There's tombstones. There's some right in here.
But you can't see them.
But you can't see them right now for it's growed all up.
Wow. Wow.
I thought maybe I could see one out there and so you could get a picture of it.
But I don't see anything. Yep.
When I get my big mower out of there, I'm gonna bring it up here, and I can take my big mower and go out through there and cut a lot of this little stuff here down, so that'll start clean up on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But see, when me and Walter and him first come up here, you could see tombstones all out through there because it was in the wintertime.
Yes, 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 yes. Alexander County is the birthplace of our museum founder, Corrine McDaniel. She was born in Carroll and raised in Hodges Park, Illinois, which was founded in 1875 by Alexander Hodges, who named the town after him and his brother. While Corrine spent time in Carroll visiting with her grandmother, some memories were not so great.
I remember most vividly when they filled in the swimming pool in Carroll so no black people could swim in it.
Wow.
And we used to just sit on the steps and watch them swim, and they would be screaming and hollering, and we would want to go there so bad, and we could not.
Wow.
And then one day they filled in the swimming pool. Oh, that hurt so bad. But that was the end of that.
So they didn't get to swim either then, huh?
No, no one did.
Okay.
Rather than integrate.
Hodges Park had the prerequisites to be a settlement, a church, school, and a cemetery. They even had a railroad depot that no longer exists, not even the tracks. And like most black settlements, it didn't even have a post office.
Black people lived in Hodges Park. White people lived in Unity, who was an imaginary line that separated it. And Unity was where you went to get your grocery and your mail. But everything else was in Hodges Park.
So if somebody were to send you mail, it would be sent addressed to Unity, Illinois?
Unity, Illinois, yes.
Okay. So so you're saying Hodges Park, they did not have a post office?
Did not have a post office. And my mother, oh gosh, I remember my mom's friend sending her mail, and we had to walk, oh gosh, it must have been 2 miles to get a letter. And then my father worked in Flint, Michigan, and he would write Mama. And we had to walk up there to get the mail from Mama. And it was, gosh, I remember like it was yesterday, and it was hot with no shoes on.
No shoes?
No shoes, no such thing as shoes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
But it was a good time.
Speaking of good times, you're a quilter. Where did you get that from?
Oh, my mother, and Miss Jarvis, and Miss Laverne, and Miss Bertha, and all those women that sit around all day long, and all they did was just quilt, quilt, quilt. We had to thread, I'd say at least 100 needles before we went to school, because they didn't do anything, and they didn't cook or nothing. They just quilt and talked and talked. And I used to say, Mama got run over by a Mack truck, that'd be just fine with me, because that's all they did. But once I left home, graduated high school, started work for the Carbondale Senior Citizens, and they introduced me to quilting. Oh my God, I loved it. And I said, oh Lord, please forgive me for Mama being run over by a Mack truck, because I love it. I love it to this day. But during that time, because Mama didn't do anything, she didn't cook nothing, and then we had to do all those chores when we got home. But
see, you should have had more kids like she did, and you wouldn't have had to have done anything either.
Oh, I'll think about that in my next life.
Yes. So did they have like a quilting club? Or
a quilting club, a quilting bee.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and all of them. And they, you know what, they congregated at my mama's house.
Oh.
And sometime at the church, they would quilt. And we didn't ever get close enough to hear the stories that they told.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
I'm sure there had to be some good ones.
Yes, that's what I was trying to get to. Any stories that they might have told.
Yeah, but I don't remember any of the stories.
While Corrine's family hails from Alexander County, Milton's family came from Tennessee and planted roots in Pulaski County in the early 1900s and owned lots of land. But Milton's grandfather wasn't just looking for a change of scenery. he came with purpose.
My grandfather actually walked across the same bridge, the same river, the Ohio River, leading the cow from Tennessee into the state of Illinois, into Pulaski County, because he was being hunted for killing a white man in a fight in Tennessee. But he walked to Pulaski with a 2-year-old kid on his shoulder, leading the cow across the Ohio River Bridge. And see, that same bridge that he walked into Pulaski put me into the Guinness Book of Records. So it kind of put his walking across that bridge and me coming across that bridge later, 100 years later, Pulaski County, and then my family owned most of their own property in Pulaski County.
Eventually, the couple would settle in Carbondale and go on to establish the African American Museum of Southern Illinois. Corrine became the first black woman to serve on the city council and owned a beauty salon. They even named a street after her. Milton, the first African American railroad fireman and engineer north of the Ohio River, was later inducted into the Illinois Labor Hall of Fame. But going back, there was one common thread that seemed to run through the black settlements.
I would just like people to know that people of color didn't always depend on the white people, especially in Pulaski County that I know of. They came together and they made sure that each other had a little something. Even after my daddy moved to Carbondale, well, he went to the war first. And when he came out of the war, World War II, they moved to Carbondale. He still rented or leased his land out to other blacks. And they formed it for years and years.
Preserving our history isn't just about the past. It's about finding where we fit in the story. The Family Search Center is where people come to uncover their roots through photos, census records, obituaries, using millions of records via online resources. Whether it's your first time visiting or you've been tracing your lineage for years, this space honors the families who built our communities. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find something that changes how you see your own story.
Second, you said that you had relatives in a similar place.
Yeah, my dad and my mom were both from Mississippi. 2 different places, 2 different counties.
What part of Mississippi?
My dad was in Panola County in Sardis, and my mom was in Philadelphia in Neshoba County. And then both of them, their parents, they didn't know each other in Mississippi, and both of their parents moved to Arkansas. And my dad's family moved to Marietta. And I forget the place where my mom moved. And then they both moved. They didn't know each other there either. They met each other in Southeast Missouri at Gray Ridge. And they met at church, and they did the cake box dance. And my mom offered it to my dad, and he said she was so happy when I took it. That was the best thing that ever happened to her.
She ain't got to take her earrings off.
So Mariana and Walter lives in Mariana too.
As we shift from family roots to the fight for civil rights, Pulaski County shows up again. Home to several historic black settlements, including Ullen, Villa Ridge, Pulaski, and Mounds. It was in Mounds that Charles Neblett spent his teenage years after moving from Tennessee. Though his activism wouldn't fully ignite until later, the seeds were planted following a national tragedy, and his life would never be the same.
I was 14 years old, the same age as Emmett Till. And the change in my life came when he was murdered. And it's the first time I had a confrontation with a lynching. Especially when they had the pictures in Jet magazine and so forth. And we were the same age. And it was the first time I came to realize what they did and what position I was in, that they could do that same thing to me and get away with it because I was black. And I was sick. I was just sick, depressed, because something had to be done about it. I wasn't going to, it wasn't going to happen to me. I'm going to do something about it.
That same year, after reading about Dr. Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks organizing the Montgomery bus boycott in Jet magazine, his depression lifted. That was the first time he had seen black people take a stance for civil rights. He knew when he got of age, he was going to be a part of that movement. It started on the campus of Southern Illinois University, fighting against segregated housing in 1958. He and a friend organized a demonstration.
And 2 days before that, a lot of the black kids came and said, they were crying and said, we can't do it. We're the first kids of our families who ever gone to college. And they said, if we get kicked out of school, they would kill us. And we sat there and thought about it. And we said, what are we going to do? So two of us were going to do something. So what we did, we brought up a scandal sheet. We had, in the scandal sheet, it had president messing around with gangsters in Chicago. We had dean of men going out with black women in the black neighborhood. We had girls who was having abortions. We just had a scandal sheet.
So you all made all of this up?
That's right, scandal sheet. And they come out about 3 o'clock in the morning and scattered it all over campus. And in fact, we had a preacher named Reverend Ramsey let us use his mimeograph machine to print that stuff. And we scattered it all over campus. And we got to school the next day, the police was waiting for us. Campus cops was waiting for, they know just exactly who did it.
Somebody told on you guys?
I guess. They marched us right to the president's office. He was livid. Morris was the president's name. And he was livid. And my friend, he got scared. He said, I ain't wrote nothing. He says, I owe 3 papers in English and all that kind of stuff, and I ain't got time to be writing up. I looked at him and I got tickled. And I cracked up, I laughed. And the president wanted to know what I was laughing. I said, listen, man, I'm not concerned about who wrote paper. You know, what I'm concerned about is racism on this campus. And I started naming off things. You know, I knew I was kicked out. I knew I might well take it all away. I told him the things that we didn't like on this campus. It was racism, and he looked at us. He changed his demeanor. He said, if I take care of this next quarter, will you guys behave yourselves? I said, what? And I was thinking, he's talking funny. I mean, that wasn't what we expected. And he said again, he said, do I have a deal? He said, yes, man, you got a deal. He said, get the hell out of my office.
It didn't stop there. It was only the beginning. That summer, he joined the movement and ended up in jail several times in Carroll. Among the issues, boycotting stores that wouldn't hire black folks.
And Carroll was mean, too. They was going to blow up the church, so we had guns in the church. We stayed in the churches with guns. That's what they didn't blow up none, because we had people that were waiting for them.
Wow.
And so the reason that there wasn't no killing in there, because they knew we had guns too.
Wow.
On the railroad track, they had state troopers and stuff over on the railroad track with guns. So they had the black community like hemmed in. So they called my brother. He was with the Panther Party, and said they got us boxed in. He came down to Carroll in a U-Haul full of guns. And they let him in because they thought we were going to move out. And when they found out he had unloaded all those guns,
Wow.
those guys cleared off that railroad track and shut it down because Negroes had guns. And they know they'd use them.
By this time, he had joined the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and the Freedom Singers. He would work beside John Lewis and Carol. They walked the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama on Bloody Sunday, and they would appear on the same program with King's I Have a Dream speech. Years later, he's still singing.
When I was young, I fought for freedom. When I was young, I fought the Klan. Who would have thought I'd still be fighting 60 years down the line? Freedom, still fighting for freedom, 60 years down the line.
Through the African American Museum, these stories now have a home, living, visible, and permanent. This isn't the ending, it's the launch.